Be strong.
You ever play in the snow before?
Nah, the snow can be unpredictable. Never know how many inches you're gonna get.
Oh, got you a goddamn blizzard your first time out.
Welcome to Mixed Expressions. And today we're talking about playing in the snow as a reference to the show Power by 50 Cent and that other guy. When Tommy asked Keisha, Tommy, like the white guy Tommy, asked Keisha if she's ever played in the snow, as a reference to dating white men. So we had to ask ourselves, what's our opinion on dating non-Black men? Because why was that even a concern of Keisha not, or why was it interesting that Keisha wouldn't have played in the snow?
Yeah, I think it is pretty interesting. I think we all have our preference, and for me, my preference have been Black men, and yours, Michelle.
Yeah, I played in the snow like a few times, but like, why haven't you dated non-Black men? Because you can't say white, you have to say non-Black.
Well, I think it's just been my preference. It hasn't been anything that I have done purposely. It's just, I like what I like. Also, I think growing up, which is weird coming from a mixed family, I never thought like white men were attracted to me ever. I always thought it was like the blonde hair, blue eyes type of girl. So I never really considered that, But yeah, like I said, I have my preference, Black.
I think I'm gonna flip it a bit. So maybe you didn't feel that white men were attracted to you because maybe they gave you looks and stuff, but maybe you didn't feel that because white guys make you approach them. I don't think all, definitely not all.
Really?
I think
so. From your experience, like you've had to kind of go out of your way to talk to a non-Black man?
Yeah. Like a white guy, I can't, not non-Black, I mean Persian guys turn their car around, stuff,
How's that go?
Yeah, that was interesting. I was a little bit scared. But
really?
Yeah.
So what made you say like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it?
For a white guy?
Yeah, I mean, you said that like you had to be the one to approach. So I'm saying like, what made you say, okay, I'm gonna go up to this guy?
A few times, a lot of times, basically all the times I've dealt with white guys outside of them hitting me up on the internet or something. But basically, I guess they kept making eye contact with me and being awkward, like kind of just circling around instead of actually saying something to me. So then I'm just like, this is weird. And then I'm like, hi, what's your name? And that's what they wanted. And then all of a sudden, oh, hi, I noticed you're so beautiful, blah, blah, then they'll say something. And then a lot of them, not all, but when they say this, then I'm turned off. But when they say, have you ever dated a white guy before? Like they're nervous about approaching us. They're scared. So when Tommy said that was a very relatable thing to me. Like, have you ever played in the snow before? Because they're so nervous about, approaching us for whatever reason it is. But maybe that's why. Because I've had this experience so many times, and I'm just like, when I notice them hovering, I just say something. It's basically
you just never know.
Yeah. Have you experienced like white guys or guys who aren't Black, like how they approach you? Like, do you feel there's any difference? Or, because I definitely do, obviously.
I think I've definitely been approached more by Black men.
Right?
Which I prefer. Not to say that I can't say that I haven't felt like, a white man was checking me out, or felt the need to talk to me. Maybe
Yeah.
I wasn't paying much attention. But yeah, I mean, I've had guys do weird stuff before though. Like I was saying, I was at a red light and a black guy literally had his head right out the window. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get beheaded.
No
So
qualms.
I think the nature of men in general, like I think that they're when they see something they like,
Mhm.
white, purple, black,
Like
let's hope they go for it. You know what I mean? I mean, not to that extent, but you know what I mean.
no, it's a bit scary, but yeah. But yeah, I just they don't say anything from my experience. And I just wish they would just say something. Because they don't know. But anyway,
Well, now they will.
yes. Well, hopefully. Um, so that being said, do you feel that there's pressure on us as black women to date black men? Like as if we're betraying black people overall if we don't date black men.
Well, I personally don't feel that way because I've never been in that situation to feel the pressure
Mhm.
and to look at things that way. I think for me, if I was going to date outside my race, that sounds so dramatic, outside my race, but someone else other than black, they would have to be pretty woke, Michelle. They'd have to be like an activist or something. Like they'd have to be very in the know of history and how things are impacting, people of color today. And I think that's important to be able to relate to each other too,
Mhm. And that's a good point as well because it's like you're like, I don't want any reason to slap you upside the head for some
Right,
dumb
exactly. And then you have
like,
the family. Let's say you get involved with someone and we know politics nowadays is it's super divided. It's like who wants to go visit, your wife or girlfriend's family when they're
racist
racist. You know what I mean?
or don't even
So
know
and
they're
that's
racist.
difficult. That's something that you definitely have to consider like long term. When you have kids, what's that gonna look like?
Yeah, I've
So it's
experienced that,
you know,
but they
yeah.
didn't think they were racist. They thought this is why it was so interesting because he also asked me, "Have you ever dated a white guy?" Then we started dating, of course, and his parents were so sweet, but they were just so attempting to be woke
Mm,
while his ignorant. But
yeah.
I know that wasn't their intent, but that's also something they don't realize they're being racist by assuming certain things.
Exactly. And that's the awkward piece to it too, is like
Yeah,
the ones that are overly like, yeah, I listen to so and so. It's like, that's cool.
yeah, like
Or, they just like try to relate to like certain music or something like that. That's something you gotta pay attention to as well.
I
That's awkward.
forgot about that. Totally forgot about that. But yeah, like I remember I was dating this one guy, because we were set up by a mutual friend, and he was white, and he kept asking me if I knew who these old ass musicians were just because they were black. And I'm like,
Did you at least know?
you have a clue. Like, I mean, I know who Little Richie is, but other than that, like, why are you? He'd be like, oh, you know this person. I'm like, no, who are they? And then every time it ended up being a black person. And then I had to explain to him, like, okay, I understand you're very woke and stuff because he's from Santa Monica, but you don't always have to ask me if I know this person or that person, to act relatable. Like, I'm not into jazz like that. Like, I don't.
Then you go to the parties and then they're all doing the Thriller dance and you know what I mean, the typical
I like the
dances, which is
Thriller dance. I'll give him a pass. But yeah, that did happen. I remember all those questions. Oh, yeah. So,
yeah, I think a lot of guys going back to you said that guys are kind of scared to approach. I think they might be. Like this guy today, I went on a jog and There wasn't no damn leaves on his yard to have that leaf blower at all. And not to sound like cocky, like, oh, he was totally looking at me. But we kind of know.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of know. And I'm looking over like,
Say
really, you have a
something.
leaf blower out? You're just trying to look at me. Well, I didn't want him to say nothing, actually.
Well, that's what I'm
Keep
saying. It's
keep doing
like they'll, again, general statement. Um, I,
yes.
I've noticed the hovering without saying anything. And that's a real thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like, and this is me just saying, like, men in general,
Hmm.
if you want something, tell us, like, communicate. We're
Me,
not, I mean, we have great intuition, right? We're intuitive, but at the same time, like, we're not psychic.
no,
We don't
but
know what you want sometimes. You have to open your mouth, you know?
maybe with I'm just making a statement here. Maybe with white guys, they're a little scared due to all the wokeness and thinking like our ancestors did such bad things. So why would you want me? And so I'm scared to say. I'm not saying that's the case with all of them for sure. For damn sure, it's not.
Then that's their own problem.
Yeah, but I'm
They,
thinking back to the guy I actually dated in college, and that was
mhm.
part of his thought process. And I'm like, I'm just being reminded of all these things right now, like hovering. Maybe they're scared. I don't experience that with like Italian men. I'm just talking about like white American men, not the
Mhm.
ones from Texas, the little woke ones here in LA. These are the only ones I experience this with. That's it. Okay.
That's
Well,
funny.
it's crazy, but that's what. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Um. So we know you haven't played in the snow. Um. Well, since you haven't, I guess we can say this. What are your favorite things? It doesn't be sexual or anything, but what are your favorite things about black men? Since like that's all you know, and that's your preference. I just want to know, like,
Like, that's all I know.
yeah, give him
Um,
a shout out, like say why.
I think it's mostly for me, it's like, I grew up watching, with a black father, black brothers, mixed brothers. And so obviously there's a connection there that's important to me when you grow up looking at that. Obviously, you want to involve that in your own life as far as like, a man in your life. So do I have like a list of things that say why I love black men? No. But that's just, that's my preference. And like I said earlier, I think if I was to date outside, they would have to be probably, like I said, activists or something, but organically,
Hmm.
not the ones that are just like, oh, it's a trend, hashtag this, that, and the other, but like real authentic work being done in the community. That's when I would maybe consider it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, oh, I'm doing this for the gram type stuff. So weird.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I guess for me, I like them all. Um, but the difference with playing in the snow, because that was the topic, playing in the snow like Tommy.
Hmm.
I don't know what Keisha experienced, but um I feel like white men just are a bit more free, not just like sexually, but I feel
Like available?
like no, I feel like they're like not available, like they're free. They don't um I'll give you an example. So again, I didn't really grow up with black people. So people say, at least for me, they say like, "Oh, you act like a white person." I don't think I act like a white person. I think I just act like a person. But the reason this
That's
made
the
me laugh,
worst.
yeah, but
That's
I
the
think
worst. When you talk like a white girl. Okay. Whatever that
yeah, but he
sounds
was
like.
yeah, but he wasn't saying that about me. He wasn't saying my speech or anything. He was saying the way you walk into a room as if you're not scared of things or like you're not thinking about like, oh, I can't do this because I'm black or I can't do this. or whatever. Like he said, like
Mm.
he said that.
So it's like
And
he had his own like stereotype though.
yeah, but he's a black man who's saying this to me. That's what I'm telling you. He's a black
Mm.
man saying this to me. And then it made me really think back because no one explained it to me like that before. And so now thinking about this topic on why I feel white men are a bit more free, I feel like they do what they want to do. And, they know there are steps to getting there, but they don't think, oh, I can't do this because of this, that, and the fifth. They just do it. And so for me, it's like, I'll just do it. You know what I mean? And so I feel like they're more free. And so sometimes it's sometimes easier to deal with a bit, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. But as far as like thinking of these things, it's not, definitely not, because again, they feel more free. So they say whatever they want to say. Um, so I feel like that's my main difference in dealing with white men versus
Mhm.
black men, because that's a constant thing that comes up. It's like, oh, people, at least here, I can't say everywhere, but here it comes up a lot that, oh, like in Beverly Hills, people think they're white or this and that, and they're not talking about black people. They're talking about um, well, the black people here aren't talking about black people. They're talking about like Persians and all the different
Mhm.
ethnicities here who aren't white, but because, and then they specifically say because they think they own everything and can do whatever they want, and that's their reasoning for saying they think they're white. And I was like,
Hmm.
"Mm."
Interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, I like a man who takes charge, and I feel like black men who take charge, sometimes they deem them as entitled and arrogant, which I don't think is
Mm.
accurate, and I think they say that just because they're black. And
Hmm.
so yeah, I mean I think that's the difference. I think the difference for me is a white guy is free to act on who they are, and black men don't always feel as free unless they have more money, and even so, they still feel like they have to fit in a certain archetype um, to appease um, black society.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, like when you really think about it, and when they literally say those words, they think they're white because, and I was
Hmm.
like, oh, yeah, oh no, I just noticed it when I was showing the house. They're like, you can't go in there. I'm like, why? So anyway, I don't have a preference personally, black, white, whatever. Um, Sexual preference, maybe, but not preference. So sex is separate from dating, I think. I think they together, but
Yeah, that's the thing. You never know with that. You never know with that one.
never know. There are patterns, but that's another discussion. So,
Yeah, and I feel like just men in general, I think any woman, all we really want is like some type of, well, not all we want, but what's important is communication.
mhm,
No matter the background you came from, the stereotypes that you have going on in your head, it's like decide, take action consistently. You know
yes,
what I mean? Because
they-
I think it comes down to nature.
yeah,
Men should pursue women and make us feel like, okay, you do, this is what you want, so we
that's,
can act accordingly. You know what I mean? Because then we're just out of sort and we're out of order.
yeah. I
So
do
no one
feel it's
wants to be
better.
out of order, right?
Yeah, no, we're not supposed to be ordered, and that's how I feel. Like I feel like black men, ethnic men, will approach me, and I feel like white men I have to approach. I can get both, but I'm just saying I feel that way.
Right.
So thanks for joining Mixed Expressions, and talk to you next time.